I would like to ask Ms. Johnson regarding previous comments that she's made in testimony today. Is it your testimony today that no one brought anything to your attention that would cause you to retract your affidavit that the records are not in possession of the district?
That is correct. I was not provided any information to respond to the right to know request, therefore I had nothing to provide, so I did sign the affidavit.
Since signing that affidavit, have you become aware that records are or were in possession of the agency?
For the time period that you requested, I am not aware of any information that is, I have not been made aware from anyone within the organization that records are available.
Within the organization, however, did you become aware at all that records were in possession of the agency?
At this time, I'm not. You have provided emails that would suggest that we should have records, but I cannot confirm that we have those records in our possession.
Let me ask you a question, Ms. Johnson. As of July 21, 2014, what was the records retention policy of the district?
Actually, our retention policy is currently under review, and we are developing a retention policy. That policy just recently was passed, and we are in the process of putting together a retention policy. So prior to that, we had no official retention policy other than those things that are required by law to maintain within the district. That would be financial records that are under the direct audit of the Pennsylvania government.
And I'm clear that you did not, no one in the school district investigated whether there were any electronic versions of any of the requested documents within the possession of Penrith School District?
That is correct. From what I understand, that our previous process had been, unless email records were specifically requested, emails were not looked at in regards to looking for records.
What about scanned documentation? Does the district store any scanned documentation anywhere?
I do believe some individuals do store scan documents for their own files, but that is not a matter of our policy requiring documents to be scanned. So we do not have a formal document scanning process or program in the district.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Mary.
Ms. Johnson, did you receive a copy of the email that was addressed to the Office of Open Records from Tuesday, July 29th, with a sworn affidavit that I issued to the OOL?
I would have to go through the files. I would assume so, but I would have to go through our files.
Would you like a copy?
According to this email, yes, you did send a copy of this to me.
Do you recollect receiving it?
I receive hundreds of emails a day, so particularly on this one, I can't say, but it was addressed to me, so I would assume it did come to me.
Contained to that document was a affidavit that I submitted to the Office of Open Records.
This is a 24-page document.
Yes, Your Honor.
What are you showing with this now?
Pages 3 and 4, which were the cover letter affidavit, after the first two being a copy of the email authenticating where the record came from. So it would be first and second page of the actual affidavit that I submitted on July 29th. Ms. Johnson, did you read that prior to today at all?
Yes, I've seen this before.
Do you recollect when the first time was that you read that?
No, I don't.
Well, you've read it before today.
This came the day before, this came on a day that the offices were closed on July 11th. The following week, I would have been on vacation, so it probably was the following week when I read it.
Okay? Since that time from initially reading it, was there anything that you've done to investigate any of the statements in that affidavit?
No.
Based on receiving that, and you continue to attest to the fact that you searched the agency's files?
I testify that I continue to ask individuals for the information after this email was received, as of late, as of September of this year.
However, your affidavit swears that you searched, I have searched agency files.
I searched the files that I believe were at my disposal.
Was it not your previous testimony that you could have requested electronic records?
When you asked me today, I said we could have, but we did not.
But
As
there
I
was-
testified earlier, it was not our normal practice to look at email records unless email records were specifically requested in a right to know.
But they were at your disposal, correct?
I could have asked someone to look at them if I had been our practice to do that with all right to knows. But since it was not our practice, I did not request to look at emails.
Can I ask Ms. Young a question? Would you be willing to continue this hearing and initiate a review of emails at the school district to determine if there are any emails that would have, could have been disclosed under the right to know law to Ms. Herring?
Certainly.
I was directed Ms. Young.
I'm so sorry, I can't hear, sir.
If we could have a minute to talk about that question now.
Diane trips over the chair, pull the chair back. Mike can get set. You know what's
Thank you. I think you're asking whether the district would agree to stop the proceedings today, and then you would direct them to search email databases and electronic records to see if there are anything responsive to the request. Is that what you're asking? The district would agree to do that.
Ms. Herring, would you agree to that?
I would agree to that with one stipulation. I did bring a witness who came with their own cost and volition. I'd like their testimony included in the record prior to ending today's session, so that I do not need to bring them back.
Can we do that, Ms. Young?
It's up to you. I don't can object to that.
Okay.
I'd like to call
All right, so
Mr.
we'll
Francis.
suspend the questioning of Ms. Johnson at this point and allow you to call your witnesses to complete the record. And then I understand we'll continue the matter, and the school district will review its electronic messaging systems. And if there's any scanned electronic documents, they will look for that as well.
Sure.
Okay, Ms. Herring, you can call some of your witnesses.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mr. Francis.
Can you tell them? Okay. We're going to switch you to the right, Ms. Herring. She's to the right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a little confused there.
FRANCIS.
PEI, FFER, FRANCIS.
One more pseudo. Sit on the end. Good one. Sit on the end.
Oh.
So she can't both give her a signal.
Okay, before you sit down, why don't you wait? You swear firm testimony you're going to give us here today, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, the best of your knowledge, information, believe.
Yes, I did.
And your name for the record? Your name, full name?
My full name is Francis George Pfeiffer, P-E-I-F-F-E-R.
Mr. Pfeiffer, for the record, were you elected Penridge School Board Director during the review and adoption of current Board Policy 915?
I was the school director, yes. I was not present at the meeting where the final policy was adopted.
As an elected school board director, and were you a member of the Policy Review Committee during the review of the Policy 915 beginning in January of 2013?
Yes.
For the record, I have provided Exhibit H11, a copy of the publicly published minutes of the Policy Review Committee from January 30th of 2013. The specific area in question is on page 4 Item 5. Mr. Pfeiffer, for the record, would you please read the line in the official minutes of the top? Please, that's highlighted.
Yes. Paragraph 5, review of policy number 913, booster clubs and parent organizations.
This is not policy 915, correct? This is policy 913?
The actual policy is 915, the minute says 913.
Correct. Was there a previous policy in place that was 913?
I cannot recall if there was.
It states in the official minutes that you were working with the school board committee to clear up what kind of financial report was required for the groups. Could you please elaborate on that?
Well, having been in the accounting profession for over 52 years, I wanted there to be some specificity as to what we were requiring of these organizations. When you say a financial report or whatever, what did we want the organization to provide? Because many times the officers of such organizations are not skilled in accounting matters. So I thought it would be well to add some specificity, maybe even to give a sample report of what these organizations were required to do. And that was my input. I thought the more specificity, the better.
Mr. Piper, based on the meeting minutes, do you recollect at any time from the initial review of the policy at a public meeting, at which point any district administrator advised you that the committee or the school board directors, that they were going to be unable to adhere to any of the reporting requirements in the policy?
No, I do not recall any such discussions at meetings that I was present.
Were you provided at any point any notification that the administration of the agency would be unable to fulfill or to adhere to any of the policy guidelines?
I do not recall any such discussions.
Up until the end of your service to the community, which ended in December of 2013 as an elected school board director,
Pardon?
I object since this hearing is testifying about the person's background. He can,
Yeah, I'm sustained. You can't, it's kind of a leading question that you can ask anybody.
were you made aware, Mr. Pfeiffer, at any point by the administration that they were requesting a grace period to the adoption and of the policy and the implementation of the policy?
No.
During your term as a school board director, were you made aware that all public meetings, both committee and school board meetings, were audio recorded by district administration?
I was aware that at least some of the meetings were being audio recorded, yes.
Do you recollect at any point that you were ever provided a list of which meetings were recorded and which were not?
I don't recall any list. So,
Do you recall if the public were ever told if there was a way in which they could get those recordings?
I don't recall if the public was ever notified that there was availability of those.
Do you have a copy of policy 915?
Yes, I do.
Did I supply that to you?
No, as a matter of fact, I pulled this down from the public website, the Penn public website yesterday, so that I could refamiliarize myself with the policy.
At any point during the policy review, readings, or adoption. Do you recollect that the agency ever provided any specific group or any generalized group an exemption from policy 915?
No, I do not know of any such exemption.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And cross.
No?
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
I assume you will continue this following.
It's the only witness you're going to call.
Forgive me, I'm not really sure if we're ending it now.
That's the only witness you're going to call?
Yes,
Okay.
except for myself, but I'll reserve that right for when we review the matter after Ms. Johnson reviews her electronic record files.
Okay. I guess we can continue the hearing at this point.
Your Honor, can you give some direction to the parties on how to proceed from here? Do you want the district to
Yeah.
notify you of the outcome of the search, or what?
Well, both Ms. Herring and the Office of the Record. Yeah, myself and Mr. Schmidt. How much time do you think you need to do this?
Mrs. Johnson?
30 days?
How about 30 days? That's the usual timeframe for a right to know response for a
That's
diligence.
reasonable? Ms. Johnson? Okay. All right, so we give you 30 days from today, within which time to do a search of the electronic documents, emails, anything that could be electronically stored within the school district pertaining to the request. And then we'll see what Ms. Herring's response is to that submission. I guess it should be under an affidavit again from whoever is conducting that search. Just as Ms. Johnson gave us an affidavit this time. Any questions or problems with that?
No, but to be clear, you're going to want the individual within the district who does the electronic search to do the affidavit, not Ms. Johnson, correct? You're not expecting her to certify, based on the testimony here today, my preference would be for whoever actually did it to do the affidavit, not Ms. Johnson.
I mean, whoever has the most knowledge about the review of all the electronic records, whoever that person is. Whether Ms. Johnson is involved, if she is involved and sits there and works with that person, she can do it. If not, the person that does it, or persons that do it, maybe it's other people, maybe it's an outsider, whoever reviews that. First, I guess the question is, are they kept, and for what period of time? Do you know? I mean, have they already been destroyed from a certain period of time? Any emails on your server, things like that? Can you know the answer to that?
As I mentioned earlier, our policy on record retention was just recently passed. I cannot sit here today and say that all these records are still available until we can conduct that test, but we certainly will review the records at this point.
Okay, I mean, you may have to go back to a server to look for all these as opposed to individual computer stations.
Right, we have done searches before, so we're well aware of how to conduct this. So
Okay, good, thank you. All right, then we'll look to hear from you in 30 days, and then we'll see where we go from there. Oh, wait, let's, I guess we'll hold up on all these exhibits. None of them are admitted at this point. None. And we'll address that if we have to come back to another hearing. Okay, just to make that clear in the record as well. All right, thank you. We'll adjourn for today. And back into that, but you want
It's just for spelling. That's my only reason.
clarify the original, all of it, and plus the copy.
Yeah, you know, like some people read.
That's good.
Sorry.